Picture this. You wake up every day completely in charge of your life, your passions, your goals, and your joy, and you don't depend on a partner to feel complete. Surprising, isn't it? This is now true for many Sigma females. In today's world, about 78% of women are unhappy with traditional relationships, leading Sigma females to leave the dating world to focus on something more important: themselves. Why are these independent women choosing self-fulfillment over romance? Let's uncover the tough truth about why Sigma females are turning away from love and finding great strength in putting themselves first. Sigma females aren't following the usual paths laid out by society. They don't look for approval or chase after romance. More and more, they are picking themselves over being in a relationship. This choice isn't about being bitter or lonely. It's about survival, personal growth, and freedom. What's driving Sigma females to step back from traditional romance? Let's discuss it. First, let's look at the societal pressures women, especially Sigma females, face. From a young age, they are hit with expectations to marry, have children, and keep a home, all while maintaining a successful career. But many Sigma females are pushing against these standards. They're investing their energy in advancing their careers, improving themselves, and taking care of their well-being. For Sigma females, this change isn't about rejecting love, but making a thoughtful choice about what makes them fulfilled. They realize that their happiness isn't tied to being in a relationship. Many discover that traditional love can make them feel confined, unfulfilled, or even unhappy. Rather than seeking a partner to complete them, they find strength in being self-sufficient and independent. In their journey, Sigma females pursue their interests and careers without the influence of a romantic partner. They focus on education and nurturing friendships that add value to their lives. This emphasis on personal growth builds their self-esteem, essential in a world that often judges them by their relationship status. They learn that spending time on themselves leads to personal happiness, which can be more satisfying than fitting into a traditional relationship mold. Additionally, social media and evolving cultural stories provide Sigma females with examples of women thriving independently. This inspires them to follow their paths. Online communities offer Sigma females a space to connect, share experiences, and support each other, reinforcing their choice to live independently. Through this perspective, it's clear that Sigma females aren't just giving up on love, they are prioritizing their dreams and goals. They understand that life is complex, and love is only one aspect of it. By concentrating on career and personal development, they build lives that satisfy them on multiple levels, and this comprehensive approach brings them closer to real happiness. In conclusion, while society often celebrates romantic relationships as the ultimate achievement, Sigma females are rewriting this script. They define their success and happiness, often excluding a romantic partner. This change reflects a wider societal shift where more women feel empowered to pursue their passions and live on their terms. Rather than being pressured to find love, Sigma females enjoy the fullness of life that comes from self-discovery and personal accomplishments. Sigma females don't look for shallow relationships. They desire connections that are authentic, profound, and meaningful. However, the current dating scene makes this almost unattainable. It's not that they are against love. It's that love now feels like a constantly changing game. Dating apps have transformed relationships into something like a shopping experience, where decisions to connect are made with a simple swipe. Most conversations don't move past basic chit-chat, and there's no assurance they will lead to something stable. Practices like ghosting, breadcrumbing, and non-committal relationships are now so typical that their harmful impact often goes unnoticed. But Sigma females notice. They can see the lack of commitment, the play acting, and the emotional unavailability, and they choose not to engage. For a Sigma female, every moment is valuable. She treasures meaningful dialogues, emotional bonds, and fidelity. Yet today's dating culture seems to celebrate the opposite: fleeting meetings, emotional distance, and quick thrills over deep connection. It's tiring to keep interpreting unclear signals, questioning someone's real interest, or waiting for a message that never arrives. Rather than spending their energy on non-serious people, Sigma females prefer to invest in themselves. They recognize their value and won't compromise their standards just to avoid solitude. Before we get further into our discussion, I'd like to remind you to like this video if you're finding it useful. Your support motivates me to produce more thoughtful and empowering videos for Sigma females and anyone trying to navigate modern relationships. Moreover, dating nowadays often serves as an ego boost for many, rather than a genuine attempt to create something valuable. Social media fuels the belief that there are always more options out there. Why settle when you can keep swiping? Sigma females lack the tolerance for this mindset. They don't see love as a competition or a struggle for control. They value realness, sincerity, and genuine effort. When they recognize that modern dating is structured to keep people distracted, unsure, and discontent, they make the wisest choice. They step away. For many Sigma females, love is about compatibility, not compromise. They don't agree with sacrificing their aspirations, independence, or selfhood just to maintain a relationship. Unfortunately, many relationships today require just that. They demand more energy than they return, leaving Sigma females drained rather than energized. Emotional effort is a big part of this issue. Many women end up acting as a counselor in their relationships, calming down egos, handling insecurities, and offering constant emotional support without getting the same in return. Sigma females see this trend clearly and choose to opt out. Time is also crucial. A strong relationship thrives on mutual effort, but when only one partner takes on all the responsibility, handling the planning, making compromises, and constantly adjusting, it creates an unhealthy imbalance. Sigma females are strongly independent. They have dreams, ambitions, and interests that they won't sideline for a relationship that isn't mutually rewarding. If their partner can't match their enthusiasm, emotional depth, or self-knowledge, the relationship turns into a burden rather than a source of happiness. The truth is, a lot of people think that relationships should be the most important thing in a woman's life. However, Sigma females don't agree with this. They feel whole on their own and aren't interested in investing their energy into a relationship that doesn't give back equally. They believe that love should lift both people involved. If it feels like too much hard work with little to show for it, they have no problem putting themselves first. In a society that often expects women to constantly give more and do more in relationships, Sigma females are choosing a different path. They're stepping back and refusing to settle for anything less than what they deserve. For a long time, women have been told that finding love is their greatest success. But Sigma females completely disagree with this idea. They don't view relationships as necessary for their happiness, nor do they think their value depends on whether they're in one or not. The truth is, being independent feels too good to let go of. When a woman reaches a point where she's fully self-reliant, financially, emotionally, and mentally, she realizes she doesn't need anyone else to make her feel complete. She's already complete. And that's where true freedom starts. Sigma females love living life on their own terms. They enjoy making decisions by themselves and value their personal space and solitude. Whether it's traveling alone, following a passion, or just enjoying a quiet night in, they relish their independence. The idea of losing that for a relationship that might not even be worth it doesn't appeal to them. The issue is that society still struggles to understand this type of woman. When men stay single to focus on themselves, they're seen as ambitious, but when women do the same, they're often labeled as too selective or aloof. Sigma females recognize these double standards. They understand that being independent is not about being lonely, it's about being strong, and they refuse to lessen themselves to fit the traditional expectations of a woman in a relationship. The bottom line? Sigma females are redefining happiness. They don't see relationships as a necessary milestone. Instead, they view them as an optional part of life, only worth pursuing if it truly enhances their already satisfying lives. And if that means staying single, focusing on their personal growth, and continuing to build the life they cherish, then that's exactly what they'll do. They aren't afraid of being alone. They're afraid of losing themselves in a relationship that doesn't measure up. That's why, for many Sigma females, independence always comes first. A relationship should be a partnership, not a burden. But for Sigma females, relationships often turn into more of an emotional job rather than a source of support. They enter relationships hoping for equal effort, meaningful conversations, and emotional maturity. However, they often end up shouldering the whole relationship, calming egos, handling insecurities, and being the strong one, while their partner is emotionally distant or inconsistent. This situation isn't just annoying, it's draining. Sigma females are good at solving problems, but they don't want to fix people. They don't want to waste their energy reassuring a partner who doesn't show self-awareness, confidence, or emotional stability. A relationship should be a place of growth and balance, but for Sigma females, it often turns into an emotional drain. And when they notice they're giving more than they're getting back, they step away. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button on my channel. This way, you'll always know when I post new videos that are meant to lift your spirits and help you find your way. A common challenge Sigma females face in relationships is handling partners who depend too much on them emotionally. These partners expect a Sigma female to act like their counselor, their cheerleader, and their comfort zone, often without giving much back. They lean on her strength, confidence, and her knack for dealing with tough times, but fail to offer the same support to her. This can feel overwhelming over time. Sigma females are happy to help their partners through tough times, but they expect to be supported in the same way. When this give and take is unbalanced, they start to feel worn out. A relationship should make life better, not harder. When a Sigma woman finds herself always being the one to prop up her partner without receiving the same effort in return, she begins to wonder if staying in the relationship is worth it. Moreover, many partners don't get the emotional independence of a Sigma female. They see her desire for personal space as being distant, her self-reliance as unfeeling. Instead of valuing her independence, they challenge it, always needing signs of affection, confirmation, or proof of love. However, a Sigma female doesn't work like that. She doesn't need to be constantly attached to someone to show her love. To her, love means having respect, trust, and growing together. Sadly, this is often misunderstood, creating a situation where she is constantly giving while the other person is only taking. This type of emotional drain doesn't just tire out a Sigma female, it changes how she sees relationships. She starts to view love as something that weighs her down rather than something that raises her up. She sees the ongoing pattern of one-sided efforts, the emotional burdens she is expected to bear, and how she ends up feeling empty rather than content. Eventually, she decides that enough is enough. Why should she pour her energy into a relationship that only drains her when she could use that energy for her own growth, success, and happiness? The reality is, Sigma females are exhausted. They are tired of always being the strong one, tired of acting as a therapist, tired of relationships that feel more like a job than a real connection. They long for depth, emotional wisdom, and a true partnership, but they won't plead for it. If love starts to feel like a chore rather than a joy, they have no issue choosing themselves, because at the end of the day, it's better and healthier to be on your own than to be stuck in a relationship that saps your energy. Let's face it, a lot of people still expect women to downplay themselves in relationships. From an early age, women are told that love and relationships should be their focus, that they should be caring, accommodating, and always ready to give in. They are expected to tone themselves down, to be gentler, quieter, and less assertive to be appealing to a partner. While many women adapt to fit into these traditional roles, Sigma females do not. They refuse to diminish themselves to make others feel at ease. They won't fake who they are just to be more loved. And because of this, society often sees them as too much or too aloof. Here's the reality. Sigma females aren't the issue. The real problem is that society still struggles to understand a woman who is truly independent. Sigma females move through life with a subtle yet strong sense of self-assurance. They are clear about their identity, their desires, and, importantly, what they refuse to accept. They don't depend on others for approval, nor do they abide by outdated notions of what women should be like. They are driven, self-reliant, and intensely focused on their personal development. However, instead of being applauded for their resilience, they often face criticism. Many people think that because Sigma females do not prioritize romantic relationships, they must be emotionally distant, flawed, or unable to love. In truth, Sigma females are capable of deep love. They simply won't settle for anything less than they deserve. In a society that often expects women to constantly compromise, to always give more, and to always be on call, this kind of self-respect can wrongly be seen as arrogance or emotional detachment. A common misconception about independent women is that they don't seek love. That's not accurate at all. Sigma females are not opposed to relationships. They are opposed to relationships that demand they give up their selfhood, freedom, or peace of mind. They are comfortable being single because they have created a life they love. They don't need a partner to make them whole, and they certainly don't need someone who expects them to conform to a traditional role. Yet, society still promotes the idea that a woman's value is linked to her relationship status. The pressure to conform can be felt everywhere, from family events where everyone asks about marriage plans to social settings where their independence is viewed as just a phase, not a choice. Sigma females often have to justify why they are not eager to settle down, as if prioritizing themselves is an unusual choice. Then there's the double standard. When men stay single and focus on themselves, they are celebrated as ambitious, career-focused, and disciplined. But when women do the same, they are labeled as too selective, too intimidating, or too aloof. Society finds it hard to accept that a woman can be completely satisfied on her own. They assume she must be lonely or secretly waiting for the right man to transform her life. However, Sigma females don't think this way. Their independence is not a temporary state. It's an essential part of their identity. They don't view relationships as a necessity, but as an option that should be considered only if it truly enhances their satisfying lives. As we keep exploring why Sigma females prefer independence over conventional love, remember to hit that like button again if you connect with these ideas. It helps share this vital message with others who might find it beneficial. Another widespread misunderstanding about Sigma females is that they have unrealistic expectations. People think that because they won't settle, they must be in pursuit of perfection. However, the truth is, Sigma females simply reject mediocrity. They don't expect perfection in their partners, but they do expect emotional maturity, self-awareness, and the ability to engage in a deep, meaningful relationship. They aren't searching for someone to fill a void. They are searching for someone who enhances their life. In today's dating world, many people lack a deep understanding of themselves or their feelings, which makes high expectations seem unreasonable. However, Sigma females don't lower their standards to blend in. They recognize their own value and refuse to settle for anything less than they deserve. True relationships should be built on mutual growth and respect. Unfortunately, it's common for women to be asked to change themselves to meet their partner's needs. They are often expected to be more patient, understanding, and adaptable, while the same is not demanded of their partners. Sigma females oppose this unfairness. They insist on equal effort, emotional contribution, and respect in a relationship. Because they reject one-sided relationships, they're sometimes seen as too independent or challenging to be with. But in reality, they're not difficult. They simply won't tolerate bad behavior, immaturity, or lack of emotional depth. They won't pursue someone who doesn't support them fully, and they avoid wasting time on those who aren't prepared for the kind of deep connection they offer. A big reason why society often misunderstands Sigma females is their indifference to approval. They don't rely on others' validation to feel confident in their decisions. They trust themselves enough to know they're on the right track, even if it's different from what's typically expected. They don't seek attention or relationships just to avoid feeling alone. They are complete by themselves, and their strong self-belief can be daunting to those who are used to women who depend on them. While some may view this independence as arrogance, it's truly a strong inner confidence that isn't easily swayed by societal norms or outdated ideas about love and relationships. Ultimately, Sigma females are changing the idea of what it means to be a woman today. They show that happiness doesn't depend on being in a relationship, and that love should be a deliberate choice, not a requirement. They refuse to diminish themselves to conform to someone else's standards of what a woman should be. If being seen as too much or too distant is the cost, they accept it because they'd rather be misunderstood than sacrifice their true selves. They prefer to remain strong in their own identity than reduce themselves to make someone else feel better. This is what makes them truly unstoppable. Sigma females have discovered a truth that many never realize. Happiness isn't about being in a relationship, it's about finding a purpose. While society often tells women that finding love is their ultimate goal, Sigma women view it differently. They're not waiting for a relationship to make their life meaningful. They've already found fulfillment independently. They're focused on their careers, pursuing their dreams, traveling alone, and exploring their interests without limits. Their lives are filled with experiences, personal growth, and self-discovery, and they reject letting outdated norms influence their decisions. With such a fulfilling life, why settle for less? For Sigma females, purpose is what drives their daily lives. They wake up motivated by their ambitions, whether that's advancing in their careers, starting their businesses, or perfecting a skill that brings them joy. Their drive is not to impress others, but to push themselves and become the best they can be. Sigma women don't look for approval in relationships. Instead, they find strength in their own accomplishments and the freedom to stand independently. They don't slow down their progress to fit into traditional romantic roles that don't match their principles. Travel is also a big part of their self-discovery. Sigma women don't wait around for a travel buddy. They plan their travels, pack up, and head out alone. Exploring new places on their own is empowering. They meet new people, soak up different cultures, and enjoy these experiences without needing anyone else's nod of approval. Solo travel teaches them to rely on themselves, adapt to new situations, and find pleasure in their own company. While some might hesitate to venture out alone, Sigma women thrive on it, showing they don't need anyone else to make the most of life. Beyond their careers and adventures, Sigma women also focus heavily on their personal growth. They invest time in reading, picking up new skills, and activities that boost their mental and emotional health. They believe real joy comes from within and invest in themselves like others might invest in romantic relationships. They set personal goals, push their boundaries, and keep growing, because for them, staying the same is the true setback, not being single. The notion that a woman needs a romantic partner to feel whole is seen as outdated and restrictive by Sigma women. They demonstrate that happiness can be achieved independently, based on their own goals and passions. They view relationships as something that should enrich life, not define it. If they find love, it has to be remarkable because they won't settle for anything less. Having built a fulfilling life solo, only something truly special would make them consider a change. That's why Sigma women are often happy to choose themselves. Now, let's look into why many Sigma women are increasingly stepping back from traditional romantic relationships. A key belief among them is that love is sometimes overhyped. In a world obsessed with finding the one, many Sigma women take time to really think about what love means to them. They realize traditional relationships can often lead to emotional ups and downs, dependence, and even heartache. This insight leads them to question whether chasing love is worth the emotional cost. In many relationships, there's often an unhealthy dependency that can show up in different ways, like needing emotional support, depending on someone financially, or feeling cut off from other social interactions. Sigma women, valuing their independence and self-reliance, see how these ties can restrict their personal growth and limit their freedom. Rather than feeling freed by love, they often feel trapped by its expectations. They might end up putting their own needs, wants, and dreams aside to keep the relationship going, which can cause bitterness and dissatisfaction. Moreover, the fear of heartbreak plays a big role in why many Sigma women choose to avoid romantic relationships. They've seen friends and family go through tough breakups, emotional pain, and the lengthy healing that follows. These experiences act as warnings, making Sigma women cautious about entering relationships that may not support their personal ambitions or principles. They understand that love has the power to create immense happiness and meaningful connections, but it also carries the risk of deep sorrow and heartbreak. The emotional risks that come with love are serious, and many Sigma women opt to shield themselves from that potential pain by focusing more on their own paths. Many independent women are finding joy in being single, seeing it as an opportunity rather than a sign of loneliness or dissatisfaction. They see strength in their ability to lead rewarding lives on their own terms, dedicating time to their careers, exploring hobbies, making friends, and caring for themselves. This way of life allows them to pursue their interests freely, often bringing them more happiness than they might find in a romantic relationship. Sigma females naturally seek self-improvement and personal growth. They believe that happiness comes from within and that depending on someone else for emotional fulfillment is risky. By focusing on their own goals and desires, they take charge of their lives in a powerful and transformative way. They are not looking for someone else to make them complete. They are on a path to complete themselves. This change in perspective is not only impactful, but also groundbreaking. Also, Sigma females tend to have more time and energy for friends and social life when they're not involved in a romantic relationship. They can build strong, supportive friendships without the drama that sometimes comes with romantic ties. These friendships offer the emotional support and companionship many people look for in love, helping Sigma females feel connected and complete without a romantic partner. The way society views love is evolving, and Sigma females are at the forefront of this change. They are challenging the old idea that a woman's value is tied to her relationship status. This shift empowers women to define what love means to them. For many, love is just one of many wonderful aspects of life. Sigma females recognize that a fulfilling life can be complete and exciting without a romantic partner, a realization that is freeing. In conclusion, while love can be beautiful, many Sigma females believe it is often overhyped. They are aware of the emotional risks, the possibility of becoming too dependent, and the heartbreak that can come with traditional relationships. Instead of just doing what everyone expects, they are focusing on improving themselves, chasing their dreams, and enjoying being single. This strong change in attitude allows them to enjoy life in their own way, valuing freedom and self-exploration as their main goals. Sigma females are changing the usual story about love and happiness, showing that a rich life can be made through self-strength and personal choices, not just by looking for a romantic partner. Here's the true reason Sigma females are stepping back from love. Modern relationships don't provide what they really need anymore. Love used to be about a deep bond and commitment, two people deciding to support and grow with each other, creating a life full of meaning. It was based on trust, loyalty, and emotional safety. But now, love has turned into something more businesslike, unreliable, and often let down. Dating seems more like a game than a real search for a connection, and Sigma females aren't interested in playing. They aren't made for superficial talks, confusing signals, or relationships based just on short-term attraction. They want something deeper, something genuine, but finding this is getting harder these days. Instead of pursuing something that doesn't fulfill them, Sigma females are choosing to set their own rules. The growth of casual dating, dating apps and social media has totally changed how people view love. Relationships are now about convenience, quick satisfaction, and endless choices. Ignoring someone has replaced open talks and breadcrumbing, where someone shows just enough interest to keep you hanging on without committing, has become common. People treat love like a service they can control, choosing to keep or drop a partner at will. In a world where commitment is seen as limiting and choices are unlimited, Sigma females find it hard to find the depth they want. They refuse to settle for shallow connections, but deep connections are scarcer than ever. So, instead of wasting their energy on a system that seems unfair, they decide to pull back. Besides the shift in dating culture, modern relationships often miss the stability and security Sigma females seek. Love used to be about facing challenges together, but now relationships break easily at the first problem. People don't view relationships as a chance to grow. They see them as fun, validation, or short-term company. Rather than working to build something strong, many quickly look for something better when things get hard. For Sigma females, who value deep emotional ties and long-term development, this lack of commitment is tiring. They don't have the patience for inconsistent partners, lukewarm love, or relationships that seem temporary. They would rather be alone than always wondering if someone is truly committed for the long haul. Another tough truth is that love nowadays often involves uneven emotional work. Sigma females are naturally independent, but they also value deep, meaningful relationships. However, they often find themselves in relationships where they are expected to be the strong one, the one who gives more, understands more, and handles the emotional side of the relationship. They've been in situations where they had to be the mature one, the patient one, the fixer. But love should be about both people making an effort, not just one person always giving while the other takes. And when they see that relationships tend to exhaust them more than they benefit them, they start wondering, is this really worth it? Nowadays, love isn't as special or private as it once was. Because of social media, everyone knows about everyone's relationships, which are judged by how many likes or comments they get. This makes people crave attention from many places, leading to small betrayals and minor unfaithfulness. Sigma females avoid these games. They value being true, honest, and fully present in a relationship. But in a world where many fear missing out on something better, finding true commitment is hard. Sigma women won't settle for love that isn't wholehearted. Instead of clinging to a weak bond in a world that accepts emotional distance, they prefer to leave. Moreover, Sigma females have changed what it means to be truly fulfilled. In the past, women were taught to aim for love and marriage as their highest achievements, with happiness depending on finding a partner. But Sigma females don't agree with this old-fashioned view. They find joy in self-satisfaction, not just relationships. They have crafted lives filled with excitement, goals, and achievements. They don't rely on a relationship to feel complete or valuable. To them, love is just an option, one that should make their life better, not worse. Let's take a moment to consider what it means to truly thrive on your own. Sigma females are showing us that life doesn't have to revolve around finding the one. Instead, they're flipping the script and proving that self-love and self-reliance are the true foundations of a joyful and successful life. They don't wait around for someone else to bring them happiness. They go out and create it for themselves. This powerful mindset shift is not just about being single, it's about being whole on your own terms. One of the additional topics we need to talk about is the power of setting personal boundaries. Sigma females excel at this. They know that to maintain their independence and sense of self, they must set clear boundaries. This means deciding what they are willing to accept in their lives and what they aren't. It's not about being rigid. It's about respecting themselves enough to say no to situations or relationships that drain their energy or do not align with their values. This practice helps them avoid unnecessary drama and stay focused on their goals and personal growth. Furthermore, the concept of solo adventures plays a significant role in the lives of Sigma females. They aren't afraid to embark on new experiences alone, whether it's traveling to a new country, starting a new hobby, or simply enjoying a peaceful day out by themselves. These solo adventures are crucial because they build confidence and self-sufficiency. Each adventure serves as a reminder that they can handle anything on their own, and this realization brings a profound sense of freedom. These women are also champions of self-improvement. They continuously seek to better themselves through education, skill development, and personal reflection. This commitment to growth ensures that they are always evolving, never stagnant. They immerse themselves in learning, enroll in courses, and constantly push their limits, continuously striving to expand their potential. This not only makes them well-rounded individuals, but also keeps them mentally and emotionally fulfilled. In essence, Sigma females are redefining what it means to lead a fulfilling life. They're showing that being single is a powerful choice, not a status to be pitied or looked down upon. They are fully capable of leading rich, full lives without relying on a romantic partner to complete them. This is a revolutionary way of thinking that encourages all of us, regardless of gender, to seek fulfillment from within. Do you agree that Sigma females are changing the narrative on independence and self-sufficiency? Could you see yourself embracing some of these practices in your own life? The truth is, love isn't the same anymore, and Sigma females won't waste time on unrealistic expectations. They won't accept love that's just about give and take, sporadic efforts, or connections that don't match their principles. They avoid forcing something that isn't right, and definitely won't lower their standards to meet society's expectations. Instead, they're setting new rules. They're putting themselves first, focusing on personal growth, and redefining what happiness means for them. And if love does come their way, it needs to be truly exceptional, because Sigma females know their value and won't settle for less. Sigma females aren't lonely. They're free. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time.